Hey guys, here, and welcome to the GTA 5 Car Car episode 2 of the Jester Racecar version going against the Feltzer. I finally got around to testing the lap times out. Of course, for a while we had snowy conditions, so it wasn't exactly the best to do lap time tests between the cars. So of course, now the snow disappeared, got around to doing that, and I'll be also showcasing the sort of doing the comparison between the LG and the Jester Racecar version as well, that you guys are curious to see. If there's anything else that you guys want me to do and I've missed out, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be getting that done ASAP. So starting off with the handling between these two, they have completely different driving styles. The Jester tends to understeer a lot more, whereas the Feltzer wants to oversteer. With that being said, the Jester's got a better turning circle and also better response time at high speeds. So when taking sharp corners at high speeds, you can do that without making any sort of errors or mistake. But then again, if you want to carry that speed, you have to expect to understeer. Whereas the Feltzer, on the other hand, is completely opposite. Of course, if you want to push it around the corners, you're going to have to expect to oversteer, but a certain level of unpredictability there as well. At the same time, it doesn't have that much of a, I guess, great traction compared to the Jester, so the efficiency is not there over the Jester. So certainly the Jester will take it for handling between these two. 0 to 60, we know the Jester here, you can see, gets in 3.17 seconds with GTA logic time, whereas with the Feltzer, from 0 to 60, it takes about 4.10 seconds. So Jester does have better initial acceleration, as you will see here. It just shoots off. Even the normal version, if you remember we covered ages ago, does still have better acceleration over the Feltzer, but then Feltzer slowly does creep up and eventually overtakes, and we know it's got superior top speed over the Jester regardless. So all we know, obviously, the race car version of Jester's got improved acceleration, so it does take quite a bit for the Feltzer to overtake. So this is going to be interesting for the lap time test, because, you know, this does obviously make a difference depending on the track, how many corners there are between these two. They're extremely tight, you know, different driving styles, of course, which does make it more competitive between the two. But efficiency is certainly there for the Jester when taking the corner. It's just all about the braking points, but you have to expect the understeer, because it's one of those things. If you get the braking wrong and carrying that speed around that corner, and if you're going way too wide, you're fucked. But whereas Feltzer, you will have to sort of undercut the corner, but when you do it too hard when pushing it, you're going to oversteer. So with the torque, of course, four-wheel drive kind of sort of dominates there anyway. Damage test, $300 initial sort of distance covered between the Weenie Issy and the two cars. The same distance covered with the first initial impact, sorry. 320 for the Feltzer, 300 for the Jester. So the Jester also takes their customization options. Feltzer has got 11 in total, which isn't that much, but it already looks customized in itself, so there's not much required for that. Whereas the Jester race car version has 25 options in total, sort of smacks Feltzer out the window, but absolutely crazy. I just don't know, man. Like, Feltzer in itself does look nice. I don't know what more they could have added to the Feltzer. It's nice to even have 11 options there in the first place. So yeah, 25 on the other hand for the Jester here, sort of just dominating the scene with the variation given there. But here's the thing with the lap time test, which is absolutely interesting, right? Now between the two, right, pay attention to the laps here, right? So let me explain. So with the Feltzer, I managed to get the lap time that I got here, which I was not able to beat afterwards, in 3 laps, right? In 3 laps. Whereas with the Jester, to be able to pull off this time, you'll see here on this video, it took me 40 laps on this track. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's to do with my driving style, my preference, but I certainly do prefer the oversteering car over the understeering car, which obviously is the Feltzer. But even with that being said, you know, it's kind of crazy to think how close these lap times were. They're so extremely close. But on this particular track, you can try it out for yourself, link in the description below. The Feltzer certainly seems to be taking the upper hand here, but it's extremely close. The reason why the Feltzer's got a slightly upper hand here is because it's carrying that extra speed generated through its top speed. So around these corners, if you do get the braking point right and really get the throttle control on point with the Feltzer, you'll be able to carry that extra speed. But here's the thing though, you have a lot more available with the Feltzer when taking the corner and carrying that extra speed. Whereas with the Jester, you do generate the speed through acceleration. However, when taking the corner, due to its understeering, you have to sacrifice a lot of speed in order to take the corner efficiently. However, you do have the traction there for the consistency over the Feltzer. Feltzer did manage to get this lap time within 3 laps, and you see that 125.807 for the Feltzer, 125.884 for the Jester. but the time for the Jester took ages to get, and to break that 125 was extremely difficult with the Jester on that particular track. Anyway, it's interesting because that first track we just saw, Galileo Ring, that was it consisted of curvy corners, right? You could carry a lot of speed, and that's why the Feltzer sort of did get quicker lap time. It wasn't that many sort of stop and start to generate acceleration. It's more just carrying that speed that you already generated from the first place. Whereas on this track, it's more of sort of stop and start. There's a few intervals with quite a bit of straighty bits, and then you got all these corners to sort of, you know, generate that speed and carry speed. It's different balance between this track and the other track. On this track, I remember city roads, Jester Racecar version seems to benefit a lot more with potholes and bumps, because four-wheel drive, and it sticks to the ground and it doesn't get agitated, or it doesn't respond to bumps as often as the other cars within this category. So with the Feltzer, for example, it definitely does respond to potholes, so you can easily oversteer if you're taking a corner. Remember, all these lap time tests that I do are done with high-end tires. If you guys want to see lap time tests with off-road tires, you should definitely check out Brofi's channel for that. But all the tests that I do is under racing conditions that we race under, and that is all to do with high-end tires. So with that being said, that's the sort of lap times you saw there. Feltzer was certainly slower by quite a bit, 0.6 seconds on city roads on that particular track. So it's very track dependent between the two, but what we have found out today is that they are extremely competitive within each other, and they do have different driving styles, and they are both certainly competitive and they're viable. Certainly the Feltzer is viable against the Jester race car, but it depends on the driver, depends on the preference of the driving style as well. So hopefully you guys have understood today between the differences between the two and got a better understanding in general as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Check you soon out. Good night, peace. Yeah. Oh, if you guys are curious and haven't seen it already, check out Slam Van versus Rat Track. The Rat Track and the Slam Van are the new vehicles we got for the Christmas DLC. Annotation on the screen, I'll take you straight to the video. I'll see you guys there.